Welcome to lecture number 36 for ECE 211 Circuits 1. In this lecture, we're going to look at the natural response of RL circuits. Now, in our last lecture, we looked at the natural response of RC circuits. So, given a circuit with a voltage source, I close the switch at t equals 0, disconnecting the power supply. What happens to the voltage versus time? We looked at that for circuits with a single capacitor, that's described by a first-order differential equation, and two capacitors, that's described by a second-order differential equation. In addition, we looked at eigenvalues and eigenvectors. If I give it some initial condition, like a V1, or V2 equals 1 volt, what value V1 makes V2 decay as fast as possible? That's the fast eigenvector decaying as the fast eigenvalue. What value of V1 makes V2 decay as slow as possible? That's the slow eigenvector decaying as the slow eigenvalue. In this lecture, we're going to do the same thing with RL circuits. So I close the switch, provide energy in the inductor at t equals 0, that's your current through the inductor. Then I open the switch. How does the energy decay? We'll look at that for circuits with a single inductor, that's described by a first-order differential equation, and circuits with two inductors, described by a second-order differential equation. And again, we'll ask if I2 equals 1, what value of I1 makes I2 decay quickly? What value makes I2 decay slowly? That's an eigenvalue-eigenvector problem. So starting out, recall for capacitors, the current is C dV dt. For inductors, the voltage is L di dt. That means that each inductor has a first-order differential equation to the equations that describe the circuit. A circuit with n inductors is described by an nth-order differential equation. Let's start with a single inductor, or a circuit described by a first-order differential equation. Suppose the switch is closed at t equals 0, and then opens suddenly. Or closed for t less than 0, opens at t equals 0. What is IA of t? What is V1 of t? Well, this is described by a first-order differential equation. To find the answer, I can use Circuit Lab. So here's my switch that opens at t equals 0. I want to plot the voltage versus time. So this is V1 of t. And notice there's a jump discontinuity. Initially V1 equals 0. This is 0. Steady state, this is a short, V1 of 0, 0. When I open the switch, suddenly the voltage jumps to minus 15 volts and then decays back down to 0. So this is kind of odd. I've got a 10 volt source, a 15 volt output, and it's inverted. I could also plot the current versus time. The current right here starts out at 5 amps and decays. That's your IA of t. So that's using Circuit Lab. I can find the voltage and current. Can I calculate that? Well, to calculate it, I first have to know the differential equation and the initial condition. Let's start with the initial condition. For t less than 0, the switch is closed. Inductors are shorts at DC, so this is 0 volts. And the current is 10 minus 0 over 2, 5 amps. So there's my initial condition. IA of 0 is 5. And kind of note, for capacitors, I look at the voltages. For inductors, I look at the currents. That's because for capacitors, voltage is energy. Inductors, current is energy. Energy has to be continuous, so the current has to be continuous. Next, find the differential equation. When the switch opens for t greater than 0, here's my circuit. Doing the loop equation, the impedance of an inductor is J omega L. Substitute with P, or it's V is L di dt. P means derivative, so it's LP times I. Impedance of an inductor is LP. So there's LP. Do your loop equation. I get 0.5P times I1 plus 3I1 equals 0, or P plus 6 times I1 equals 0. That's the differential equation that describes this. where P means derivative. So from that, I've got the differential equation that describes the circuit. I have the initial condition. I can solve. I know from the differential equation, P is minus 6. So the solution is in the form of A e to the minus 6t. Again, P operator assumes everything's in the form of e to the pt. So P is minus 6. This decays e to the minus 6t. Plug in the initial condition, and I get, here's I1 of t, 5 e to the minus 6t. So what's happening is for t less than 0, I1 is 0, or I1 is 5. When the switch opens, it drops down. I1 is continuous because I1 tells you the energy. The energy is consistent, is continuous. If I look at the voltage is L di dt. So here's the current. The voltage is minus 15, e to the minus 6t. So for t less than 0, the voltage was 0. The switch opens, the voltage jumps to minus 15 and drops down to 0. That seems kind of odd. You can do that, however, because voltage is not energy. Current is energy. Current is continuous. It starts out at 5 and then decays. Voltage is not energy. Voltage starts at 0, jumps to minus 15, then decays. So that's kind of odd, but it doesn't violate any laws of energy. Voltage is not energy. This is useful. I have voltage amplification. I've got 10 volts in, gives you 15 volts out. I have voltage inversion. Plus 10 volts in gives me minus 15 volts out. So this is used in electronics. If I want to amplify a voltage with a DC to DC amplifier, this is one way to do it. If I want to do inversion, convert plus 10 volts to minus 10 volts, here's a way to do it. And you'll cover that more when you take electronics. Okay, that was a one-stage RL circuit. Let's look at a two-stage RL circuit. Suppose I have this circuit. The switch is closed for t less than 0, then opens. What is I1 of t? What is I2 of t? And what is V1 of t? What is V2 of t? Well, one way to solve is to throw it in Circuit Lab. If I build the circuit, plot V1 of t, V2 of t. For t less than 0, V1 equals 0, V2 equals 0. For t greater than 0, this one's V1. The orange line is V2. They were both 0 for t less than 0. When the switch opens, V2 suddenly jumps down, bounces around, and settles out, and here's V1. Kind of odd, but again, voltage is not energy. How do you calculate that? Well, to do that, let's find the initial condition. For t less than 0, the switch is closed. V1 equals 0. This is DC analysis. Impedance of inductors is j omega L, omega 0. This is 0 ohms at DC. So V1 equals 0 for t less than 0. V2 is 0. And then the current. I've got 10 minus 0 over 2, 5 amps flowing. All that current goes through the inductor by current division. That's 0 ohms. So I1 of 0 is, do it this way. Current through that inductor is 5 amps. Current through this inductor is 0 amps. And that tells you I1 of 0 and I2 of 0. Okay, next, find the differential equations. Again, for inductors, the inductance goes to L di dt, or L times P. P means derivative. Do your current loops. Around this loop, 0.5P times I1 plus 3 times I1 minus I2 equals 0. Around this loop, 3 I2 minus I1 plus 4I2 plus 0.2P I2 equals 0. Doing some algebra, I get these two equations. Doing a little more algebra, I wind up with these two equations, solve for I2, and I get a second order differential equation. And what I would do to solve for I2, I want the I1s to drop out. So multiply the top equation by 3, the second equation times 0.5p plus 3, add, and then the I1s cancel. I just get I2s, simplify. There's my second order polynomial in factored form. That tells you that p is minus 3.17 or minus 37, or this is the form of I2 of t. Now to find I2, I need to know two initial conditions, the initial current and the change in current. From before, I know that I1 of 0 is 5, I2 of 0 is 0. From the differential equation, I know I1 of 0, I know I2 of 0, solve for p, I2. That's I2 prime of 0, I2 prime of 0 is 75. To solve for a and b, I have, here's the current, I2 of 0 is 0, I2 prime of 0 is 75, solve for a and b, and here is I2 of t. And that's what it looks like. Again, I2 is energy, I2 is continuous. For t less than 0, I2 is 0. It then jumps up and goes back down to 0. If we know B2 of t, B is L di dt. So take the derivative. That's what B2 of t looks like. Same thing that Circuit Lab gave me. And notice the voltage is not continuous. The voltage was 0 for t less than 0, has a jump discontinuity down to minus 15, and then drops, then settles out. Again, voltage is not energy. You can have jump discontinuities in voltage, not in current. Current's got to be continuous. Current is energy. So here's another problem. Suppose the initial condition on I2 is 1 amp. What value of I1 results in I2 decaying as quick as possible? What value makes I2 decay as slow as possible? And how fast and slow is that? Well, that again is an eigenvalue problem. That's an eigenvector problem. Go back to our differential equations. Solve for the derivative of I1, derivative of I2. Put that in matrix form. Here's your A matrix. A is a 2 by 2 matrix. A has two eigenvalues. A has two eigenvectors. Put that in MATLAB. I can find the eigenvalues, eigenvectors. Here's the eigenvectors. Here's the eigenvalues. This is the slow eigenvalue. It has a corresponding slow eigenvector. If this is my initial condition, so here's I1 of 0, here's I2 of 0. Make the initial condition the slow eigenvector, that'll decay slowly. Make the initial condition the fast eigenvector, that decays quickly. And it kind of makes sense. If both the currents are positive, I decay slowly. If they're opposite in sign, they decay quickly. So going back to the circuit, if they're both positive, I just have this net current going around, essentially. That'll decay slowly. If they're opposite directions, like I1's going clockwise, I2's going counterclockwise, they quickly cancel. And that's what the eigenvectors, eigenvalues tell you. I can check that if I make the initial condition proportional to the slow eigenvector times a constant. If that's my initial condition, I2 of t will decay slowly. If that's my initial condition, it'll decay quickly. So make it the fast eigenvector. Then here's how it decays. This term is 0, this term is 1, and it decaying is e to the minus 37t. Make the initial condition the slow eigenvector. Then this term is 0, this term is 1. I decay as the slow eigenvector, according to the slow eigenvalue. And finally, if I give it some other initial condition, like 1 amp, 1 amp, here's my initial value of A and B. It's related to the eigenvector matrix. A is 0.51, B is 0.48. Both modes are excited. Initially, the fast mode decays quickly, leaving the slow mode. So in summary, the natural response of RL circuits is the response when the inductors have an initial current and the input is turned off. The natural response can be found using the differential equation that describes the circuit. It can be found using Circuit Lab. It can be found setting the initial condition, using the initial conditions at t equals 0. It can also be found using the circuit's eigenvalues and eigenvectors. So that is lecture number 36 for ECE 211, Circuits 1, transient response of RL circuits.